Well, good morning, everybody. It is Friday and 10 o'clock. As usual, I'm here with another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. So welcome. What a week. What a week. I think sometimes I say that every week, but this week was a doozy. So I thought the first scenario that I would talk about is just a little sneak preview into how the week went and what was on our calendars for the week. But before I do that, I just want to welcome everyone to the community. I'm so glad that you're here. We are 2,000 people strong. So it's utterly amazing. And I'm so glad that everybody is here. So welcome to the new members. Welcome to the founding members. I'm really, really happy that you're here. And what this is, Rapid Fire Friday, if this is your first episode, please know that you can always watch the replay. So if you need to go off for any reason, you know what, you're gonna have to excuse me for a moment. This is actually Edible Impressions Live. I actually heard the doorbell, but I don't think my husband heard it, and I have a pickup at 10 o'clock. So hold tight, I will be right back. Okay, so this was a first. Thank you for being so patient. I am back. So we have a slew of order pickups today, and we have a lot of items going out. So thank you so much. Thank you, Nancy, for sticking with me live. All right, let me just catch my breath here a little bit. Okay, so Rapid Fire Friday, what is it? What I do is I answer 5 questions in rapid fire format. What I do is I look at the last week and I pick things that I think are interesting and things that I think you might also find interesting. So I do talk fast after I catch my breath. And but know that you can always come back and watch the replay, okay? All right. So the first one, and after each question, I will ring the bell. So the first one is this week and what a week it was. So really quickly, just a kind of a sneak preview. Monday this week, if you didn't see a recent post, we just started a kickoff of our kitchen renovation, and I'm super excited about this. We're partnering with Kalen Construction, and so that kicked off. So not only did I have that starting on Monday, I had 2 meetings for holiday orders. So yes, holiday orders are already starting to kick in. And then looking ahead at the week, my team and I had 17 custom orders to do that ranged anywhere from 24 cookies to 36 decorating kits. So they were good size orders for the week. So I had that to look forward to. Tuesday, I did a run through for a virtual event that I had on Thursday. And I also had to prepare for my annual inspection for my license. So the state of Wisconsin came in on Wednesday. So Tuesday, I was just, making sure that all my ducks were in order. There are a number of things that you need to be prepared for when the inspector comes in. And so that potentially will be a future masterclass that I'm happy to talk about. And I'm also offering to do some one-on-one consulting too with folks if they are ready to get licensed and really want to get a really good understanding of what is all involved, because there is quite a things to consider. So that was happening on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we had the inspection at 1 o'clock. And I also had to set up a temporary space for my Thursday virtual experience. So I did post a few pictures yesterday within the community. So if you're interested in seeing a little sneak preview of our operational space, that's where I actually set up for my virtual experience. So we did that on Wednesday night, made sure everything was ready to go. And then Thursday, I had 2 more calls for holiday orders. So, and when I say holiday orders, I'm talking about virtual experiences. We're talking about customizing their virtual experience and also their cookie decorating kits. So we do get quite a those around the holiday season. And then Friday, here we are at Friday. So as you heard the doorbell ring a moment ago, we've got pickups today. We've got packaging going on. We have shipping going out. And then because, I have a soft spot in my heart for new incoming cookie fans, I took on an extra 10 ice cream kit orders. And so we will be cutting, baking, preparing the icing, the sprinkles, packaging, and shipping out before 5 o'clock Central Time. But again, 10 cookie kits for me, that is a very small order, so that's no problem to be sent out the same day. So you can imagine it's been a week. It's been a really fun and exciting week, and I will certainly keep you all posted on our renovation progress. It is actually the space where then I will host in-person classes starting fall, and also that's where I'll be doing my virtual experiences. So, all right, so that was the first one. I think part of me just needed to let go a little bit to say, okay, this week is just about done, and we're signing off at noon today. So I think we've all earned a break. So hoping to close up shop by 12 o'clock today, if all goes well. Okay, number 2, I really need help. All my past and current future clients help. I'm in the process of considering purchasing an Eddy. So if you don't know what an Eddy is, it's an edible printer that will allow you to print directly on the cookies. But from what my understanding is, you have to frost the cookie first. So I don't have an Eddy when I do custom logo cookies, but it's a pretty cool machine. But it's quite the investment. So this gal in one of the other Facebook groups that I'm in, I'm actually a moderator for that group. She says it's quite expensive, and I would like to see what you all think of this being used for any future treats you might like to order. I can be used to print only on a design or designs with royal icing embellishments. So you can do lots of things with it. And then she posted some cookies that weren't hers. And sometimes people do that just for example. So anyway, she's looking for some assistance. So the question really is to buy an Eddy or not to buy an Eddy. It is an investment, certainly. So I guess for me, when I read that, and I do print on edible sugar sheets and I do custom logos. So we do both the hand frosted and the edible images. But if I were new and I was just starting out, I would really, I want to say pick one or the other. Not that it's not a great thing to offer both, but I'm all about really zoning in on what you do, that one thing that you do really, really well. So I think you need to consider, first of all, what do you want to offer your clients? Do you want to offer them handcrafted, hand-decorated, unique, creative cookies that you've created? Or do you want to use your creativity? I'm not saying that doesn't take creativity. It absolutely does, because you can create your own designs, then put that through the machine, which then prints on the cookies. So I don't want to take away from someone not being creative using an Eddy. You absolutely are. Or do you want to do printed images? So you kind of lose a little bit, even though it's maybe a handcrafted design, you're losing that handcrafted. So I'm thankful that I have both offers, but I really only use my edible printer for logos. I don't take, and I see a lot of people do it, they take designs and they print them. I'm just not a fan. I'm true to the art of the decorated cookie. I really just like the hand frosting. So we do use a printer, but we also do high volume. So if you're not going to do high volume, I would really think hard and wise about investing in something that you're not going to use on a regular basis, because it takes work to manage and maintain that equipment. You have to run it on a regular basis. I don't care what brand it is. And we've gone through many, many brands, and you really do need to take care of it. And we use ours almost daily, not on the weekends much, but we will use it pretty much daily. So it's something to think about. So yeah, if you're doing large volume corporate orders, then it makes sense. Otherwise you can have some, issues with not only the edible ink, but the actual, pieces of the machine can be kind of troublesome. Okay, that was a long answer to that question. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the replay. Do comment in below if you are watching the replay. And I always welcome you if you want to go deeper on any one of these topics. You can just type in a question. I always go in, post live and answer any questions that folks may have. Okay, so here's the next one. I just baked cookies today that are blatching on the bottom, and she did have a picture of them, and they looked quite moist, and she hasn't had this happen before. She thinks it's the butter. Is there any way to keep the cookies from blatching after she decorates them? They've been sitting on paper towel, and she wants to know if she should dust them with cornstarch. So I think when I saw the picture, and I'll see if I can track it down, but first of all, I don't use cornstarch. I know people do. And I don't also use paper towels. So I think if you're finding that you need to put your cookies on paper towel to absorb some of that moisture, whether it be the butter or I don't know. I understand it, but I just don't do it. I think what is probably the culprit for her is that her cookies were underbaked. They looked underbaked, even from the top. She had some, turned upside down and some not. And they, to me, looked a little underbaked, which I think is what's happening is the butter that's not solidified, or the butter, when you pull the cookies out of the oven, any butter that's not baked into the cookie will start to melt, and then it will seep down because it's heavy. So you're going to have an issue with that. So I think the culprit is that it's underbaked. But, to put on a paper towel or not, it's personal preference. I don't. I take them right out of the oven. I am fortunate that I have the speed racks. So the important thing is, if you want to avoid that moisture in the cookie, you need airflow all the way around your trays. So I would not take a hot tray and put it right on the countertop. You want to have some kind of rack so that you can have airflow underneath, so that they'll cool properly. Okay, so that's a great next question. Here's a really interesting one. This person says, I feel dumb asking this, but why does it seem like no one uses tips in their piping bags? So I think he or she is referring to the metal tips and the couplers. And I think what I'm thinking is that if you're just new to decorating and you see a lot of the tipless bags being used more than the metal tips and couplers, I think because of a couple things. The tipless bags are still relatively new. They haven't been, they've been around, but the new material that they're made out of, the gripness of them, and just how thin the plastic is in that single seam. A true tipless bag, I think, is still relatively new. They're inexpensive and they're convenient and they're easy to use. I think sometimes tips for beginners can be a little tricky because sometimes you don't know what design those tips make. I know I can say I have probably every tip design or shape you can imagine, and I'm just as guilty. Sometimes I don't use them because I don't remember what they look like. So, but here's the thing, I use both, and I think a lot of cookie decorators use both depending on the project. So I exclusively use my tipless decorating bags for our cookie kits. They work great because I don't have to, take on the expense of, purchasing metal tips and couplers and putting them in our cookie kits and then shipping them off. So it's a little bit less expensive, and it's just easier for someone who's never decorated cookies before just to slightly trim off that and just go. And there are ways that you can trim those tipless bags to make them, different designs. But so just know, getting back to the original question, is people are using both. So I think it just comes down to personal preference and the project at hand. So, all right. Okay, here we go. So the next one is, where's a good place to order plastic sturdy cookie cutters? Every time I use a metal cookie cutter or shapes like plaques, rectangles, circles, they always come out wonky. Even when I freeze the cookies, they still somehow come out warped. Also was wondering who's the best to order cookie cutters with matching stencils. So that's just a couple questions in here. Hopefully this can be found in the same site to save on shipping. So a couple things. She's asking about what material is best for cookie cutters, or what people recommend. She's got a little wonkiness going on. And then she's also looking for stencils to match the cookie cutters. So there's a couple of different things in there, but what I'll do is just respond to, first of all, no matter what material you use for your cookie cutters, your cookies should come out the same shape and size. So if you are having difficulty, then I would kind of back it up, maybe go to your recipe. Maybe, is your dough not cold enough? Is the butter too soft? Are you freezing your cookies first, which is a nice little tip, before they go in the oven? All those variables will help your cookies stay the same shape as when you cut them out and bake them. But just know that you may have all the same shape, but these different materials, it depends on the quality of the cutter. So some of the metal cutters are better than others. Copper is super sturdy, super hard, won't bend very easily, but a metal cutter, you may not see it. It could be a very slight bend in the metal, which then can make your cookies look wonky. So those are just a couple things. And then even with the plastic PLA, which is the food grade plastic that's used to make 3D cookie cutters, those can also not necessarily warp, but they can split. The plastic can split. And so that also, dough can get in between the crevices if the plastic has split. You want to be careful because sometimes a little bit, not a high quality 3D plastic cutter can actually start to fall apart depending on how thick they've made that when they originally made it. So a couple things there. Not all cookie cutters are the same. And if you have questions specifically about a 3D printer, I don't want to go on and on about that, but just reach out to me and I'm happy to help, because we do have a 3D printer. We do print our own cookie cutters here. We don't print them to sell, so please don't ask me to make you one to ship off to you. So we don't make them to sell. We exclusively make them for our clients for their custom orders. So, all right. Wow, with that was 5 questions. Okay, so I made it through the 5 questions. Yay! All right, so a couple announcements. We did not have a Wednesday masterclass this past Wednesday, again, just because of the week that we had. It was primarily due to the renovation kicking off. But we do have one coming up this Wednesday, which is the second part of 3. So we're going to be focusing on piping, the right piping consistency. First, we started off, the first one was about dipping. So we're going to do dipping, piping, and the third one on August 10th is going to be flooding. And then that's where I'll pull it all together too. So, and then in the meantime, we also have a business-wise masterclass coming up on August 3rd. I did recently a poll, and it looks like pricing strategies, when and how to increase your pricing without losing clients was the winner of that poll. So that's what I'll be chatting about on Wednesday, August 3rd. So there's lots to come up. The other thing is, if you have not joined my mailing list, please do so. You can visit, here's a new website for you, AnnetteConrad.com. So feel free to join me at that website, and more to come. It's just another location where I'll be providing resources and information. And I've talked about this before, you need to have real estate outside of social media. So that's essentially what I'm doing, is I would like you to join me over there. For those of you that provided your email in Facebook, you don't have to join again. I pulled that information and I have you in that email list. So don't worry about that. But I just want to, again, have that real estate. If anything happens, the algorithms for social media, we don't own that property. So if you are only on social media, I really, really do encourage you to think about creating a website. And again, another topic, I can help you get started, give you some resources, just reach out to me. But really important to protect all the work that you do. So moving forward. So, all right, I think that was a lot. And all this, if you can believe, before coffee. And for those of you that know me personally, I have to have my coffee in the morning. So before I go back up to that shop, I'm going to have myself a nice cup of coffee. And again, hoping to enjoy the weekend. It's going to be hot and steamy again here in Milwaukee. But I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate your time. Take care.